sunny ways, my friends, sunny ways.
You sneaky, you're running as an outsider.
I am an outsider.
We have recently switched to drinking water bottles out of water out of when we have water bottles out of plastic. Away from plastic towards paper, like drink box water bottles. So that
well, the frickin' God!
You're ready to fight, aren't you? I can feel
I intend to resign as party leader, as prime minister.
Is this true?
Yes, it's true. This man has no dick.
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
Mr. Prime Minister, will there always be a Canada?
There will always be a Canada.
All right, elbows up.
Elbows up.
It's like people only do things because they get paid. And that's just really sad.
So the answer to that is to stop being stupid.
My great pleasure to introduce my husband, the Prime Minister who will make Canada strong. And Canada for!
I can't do it. We'll do it live. We'll do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Thank you. It will be an honor to continue to fight for you and to be a champion of your cause as we go forward.
Let's fucking go.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to The Fringe. Thank you to everybody who's joining us tonight, everybody who's in here. Man, a packed house. Rightfully so. It's been a horrible, horrible day in the news world. One that I gotta say, I'm very shocked to see. As I stated in today's earlier video, I had the pleasure of talking through an email chain with Charlie Kirk one time a few years ago, just after meeting Dr. Peterson. And he seemed like a very nice man. Very polite, very kind, paid compliments to the work that I did with how the Prime Minister stole freedom. And we had a good chuckle about it. And I really wished I could have had the pleasure of meeting Charlie in person. That being said, what happened today is absolutely heinous. It's absolutely horrible. And I've never been struck so much by the death of a well-known figure, whether it's a celebrity or famous person, however you want to put it, than by this announcement today of Charlie Kirk. He's now a martyr against the woke. We're going to talk about that tonight. I'm going to bring Matt in on the show momentarily. I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of a rundown as to how we're going to do this show. I won't be doing a roll call tonight. There's no Trump voice tonight, guys. I'm going to keep it a little tame out of respect for what happened. So if you want the comedy, the laughs, everything else, join me Friday night for that with Mrs. Fringe. We'll keep that stream as positive as we can. So we won't do a roll call. Even though there's a hell of a ton of viewers in here. So if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, folks, hit it now. Let's see if we can get the likes above 1,000. We'll do a giveaway tonight just to try and keep it a little bit happy as we can. 1,000 likes tonight. I'll do a giveaway to one member of the Patriots Club. You must join the channel with a membership and be a member of the Patriots Club to get in on that draw. One free item from our shop. Your choice. Hit that like button, folk. Let's see if we can get there. A little sad news as I bring Matt into the stage. Welcome back to the stream, Matt. Good to see you. We got some news to talk about with the future shows on this channel. Unfortunately, the Celtic Canuck has informed me this week that she's ran into some medical issues that are going to take up a large portion of her time. I'm not going to say anything more than that, other than, unfortunately, she will not be able to continue on with the show, which is really sad since Celtic was already kicked from YouTube. But unfortunately, Celtic will no longer be joining Unhinged Fringe as her medical issues take priority. So we wish nothing but the best to the Celtic Canuck, and all the best in her battle that she has ahead of her. And hopefully one day we can have her back on the channel. Now, Matt, let's get down to the nitty gritty. We're going to talk a little bit about what happened today. And then once we're done, folks, one thing I want to do in this stream is we're going to turn it over to the audience. A lot of people say, hey, sometimes the chat moves fast. We can't get to everybody. So we're going to turn it over to you guys, and we're going to talk about what you guys want to talk about later in the show. So stick around. Enjoy what we have to talk about. Let's take everything in. Again, I'm going to try not to be too negative. We do have to talk about the nasty end of this, folks. There is going to be some negativity, but it's going to be positivity, negativity, because there can be healing that comes out of this. I think this is the beginning of the end for the woke culture. We're going to talk about that tonight. Before we get on with the show, I do have to get to the honorable mentions that have piled in. Maurice becoming new member of the Patriots Club. Thank you so much. Welcome to the Patriots Club. Noah, welcome to the Patriots Club as well. Raptor Guy, $5 super chat. With respect to home invasions, if someone intrudes, I'll be Uncle Phil. They will be Jazz. If you ever watched Chris, yeah, a little gentle. Thank you for the super chat. Michael Drader, $10 super chat. Sending love to our American comrades and especially to the family of Charlie Kirk. Anybody know if GoFundMe has been made following the tragedy? I don't believe a GoFundMe is going to be put up because Charlie was very well off. I'm sure they'll probably donate to some kind of charity. Again, if something comes forward, I'll make sure to mention it on this channel. But I do thank you for your super chat. We've got Noah with a $5 super chat. I hope this inspires more people to be unapologetically vocal like Charlie and stand up for their beliefs. Your voice will live on. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. Snow with a $5 super chat. Rest in peace, Charlie. Best wishes to Celtic Canuck. Keep us updated as best you can. I will. Snow, thank you for the super chat. David Brewer also becoming a member for 6 months. Healing prayers for the Celtic Canuck. I appreciate that as well. Thank you to everybody who's joining us in tonight's stream. Matt, I'm going to let you talk about a few things tonight. I'm going to let you take the reins here because there's a few things we noticed with today. Now, for anybody waiting for us to show the video, we will not be showing what happened to Charlie. Anybody who's glorifying that or showing it or posting it online, please pull it down. That family shouldn't have to relive that moment. It's traumatic. I unfortunately saw the video because it was everywhere. I was out with the family today, and all of a sudden my phone lit up with people saying this happened. And boy, it was horrendous to watch. Absolutely shocking. So we won't be showing that on the stream tonight. But Matt, what do we got to show tonight? What do we got to talk about?
I mean, I started out as of yesterday having like 6 different things. Like I felt like the whole world went absolutely insane this week. There's so much stuff, but obviously this today has taken over everything. It's pretty crazy, but I'd like to talk more about his philosophies and how he lived more than about how he died. And I'm going to put some sharing stuff up here so we can put it up.
Okay. We've got lots to go over in terms of the content tonight, folks. So stick with us. Again, we'll open things up to the chat as we wrap this up, but let's take a look at what we got here. Go ahead, Matt.
I go around universities and have challenging conversations, and because that's what is so important to our country, is to find our disagreements respectfully, because when people stop talking, that's when violence happens.
I've never seen someone do this.
Well, it's a growing trend because people like me are facing violence, assaults, the left. Yes, the campus Antifa. I've been stormed out of restaurants. I've been assaulted publicly, multiple death threats.
So what's your goal in this?
There's more people that agree with me than some people would actually believe, and they come out of the woodwork when I do stuff like this. We record all of it so that we put it on the internet so people can see these ideas collide. When people stop talking, that's when you get violence. That's when civil war happens, because you start to think the other side is so evil and they lose their humanity.
So you see here, this is obviously earlier on in his his tenure, there's like no crowd, and he was just doing this. He's been doing this for years. He just goes to campuses and he has conversations. He gives the microphone to the people who completely disagree with him, who despise him, and he talks with them. He debates with them. And that was his whole MO, was like words, not violence, peace, not I'm going to be a little rough tonight. I'm very I'm not sad. I'm angry. I'm like,
a lot of people are, a lot of viewers who have my email, my mods, a lot of people reached out to me over Discord today. They're all in the same boat. Like they're shook, but they're angry that it got to this level, that there is no, like, when you talk about freedom of speech, when you talk about public discourse, there's no more, I just don't like your politics, or I don't agree with you. And that's why I find it so funny that the left label themselves as the tolerant left. I mean, their philosophy is basically, oh, we're so tolerant if you agree with us. But if you disagree with any of our points or any of our lunatic ideologies, well, you're the devil himself, and we're going to do everything to ruin your life. I mean, that's the behavior we've seen.
And we'll get to it later, but the people on the other side telling us, like, well, he deserved it because all he did was spew hate speech and he preached violence. Like, have you listened to him speak? Like, I didn't agree with the guy on everything, but like, he was always courteous, even to people who were spitting in his face and swearing and calling him the meanest names in the book. He was still civil with them.
Yeah.
And I can't. I literally can't.
I just got to let people know that are watching the stream. Matt's on Starlink because he lives out in the country area. So the Starlink sometimes lags a little bit with the voice. So that's not your connection, folks. That's just the stream. It does catch up from time to time.
Bless Lord Elon for making it possible, but it's kind of crappy for streaming.
It is. One thing, when you mention them, I want to bring one thing up here really quick. Rachel Gilmore. If you don't know Rachel Gilmore in Canada, boy, you're missing out. But this is where the grandstanding needs to come to a close. This woman, now, a lot of people said, when I tweeted this out, I said, cancel Rachel Gilmore. People said, well, freedom of speech, let her reputation go down the toilet for this, any journalistic integrity she has. I hope that this tweet really tells any future employer not to hire this woman. I hope this makes her unhireable. I would never, just like we said earlier, as you mentioned, Matt, you don't wish death upon anybody. I wouldn't wish anything horrible to happen to Rachel Gilmore aside from poverty. I hope that she can't find another job for this. She immediately goes out to tweet this, and this was at 1:46 this afternoon. So it was literally right after everything happened to Charlie Kirk. Now, keep in mind, Rachel used to work with Global News. I believe, and don't quote me on this, I believe she had a contract with CTV at one point. But it says, terrified to think of how far-right fans of Kirk, aching for more violence, could very well turn this into an even more radicalizing moment. Will they now believe their fears have been proven right and feel they have a right to retaliate, regardless of who actually was behind the initial shooting? So she's using this to victimize the people who did this and essentially say, hey, you guys need to realize that it's your fault that this happened to Charlie Kirk. It wasn't that somebody was off their meds or that he triggered somebody that just took it too far. It's our fault because we need to heal. We need to adopt whatever it is they want to throw in our face. What's your take on Rachel and what she said?
I mean, like, to take that and immediately jump to, oh, well, I hope those people on that side don't use this as a reason to, be more like we already say they are or whatever it is. Like, of course we would. Of course we would. Like, that is literally the whole point. How could we not use this, or not even necessarily use this, but feel the need to, like, holy crap, like, these people are nuts. We need to, like, start defending ourselves. And I was going to talk about the girl who got stabbed on the train the other day too. And I was like, is it not normal for other people? Because I know I do it. When I go to a restaurant, I don't sit with my back where people can get behind me. I look up, even if I'm on my phone eating, I look up and quantify and assess every person that walks through that door. And it's just, now it's going to be even worse. Like, you never know.
I gotta admit that I didn't want to make this about anything to do with myself or turn it around like, hey, I can relate when I was doing the video today. But I did mention in that video, and that's one thing I think about now is when you look at Billboard Chris, when you look at Steven Crowder, when you look at, let's say, Ben Shapiro, any of these guys who go to these universities and talk, that Change My Mind videos. I don't know if Crowder still does those, but regardless, nobody's safe in this space anymore. That if you disagree with somebody's politics, you're ultimately at risk. And I've mentioned in that video, like, look, I'm only sitting at 130,000 subscribers, but I've had countless emails come in where people have threatened my family because of my politics. I had somebody dox us when our house was up for sale in Calgary and post our address online and say, hey, here's where this guy lives. Let's, go do some damage. We've had to get the police involved from time to time. And when it comes down to doing things like meet and greets or running into somebody in public, the first thing Mrs. Fringe said to me today when she heard about this was, I sincerely hope nothing bad ever happens to us because of our political views. I mean, Canada is a little more lighter than the United States. But she says, maybe we need to up our life insurance. Maybe we need to look at, the vague possibility you could say something to the wrong person and have an issue. So where do people...
I don't understand how you can watch what's going on in the world and think that that is some sort of unreasonable thing or outside the realm of possibility.
Well, but that's the thing, is that a lot of people criticize me and say, hey, Fringe, get out of your basement. Go live, go do things live. This is the exact reason why a lot of people don't want to go to these lefty organizations. And when you look at people like Dina Sharif, who was arrested and I believe she was thrown in jail. And she was just blowing a siren out on Parliament Hill. The pleb was there reporting on it, and she almost deafened the guy. Yeah. Assaulted him with this alarm or whatever it is. And the guy could lose his hearing. He could have an issue. A lot of other people who were there, same thing. So again, these are the reasons that you're going to start pushing people away from these events, saying, well, maybe we don't want to cover those things, because not that everybody's going to get shot, but that, another liability of some kind could happen, whether it's an injury, whether it's an attack,
or whether you fight back. Like if somebody gets in your face and starts slapping your phone and screaming at you, and like, I'm not a very passive individual. And if Mr. Right Hook comes out and knocks somebody out, then I'm going to jail. I don't want to deal with that either.
No. Reg Porter gifting 5 unacceptable Fringe memberships to the Patriots Club. Thank you so much, Reg. Again, folks, if we get to 1,000 likes tonight, somebody let me know in the chat. I know it's moving very fast. We got a full house tonight. Thank you to everybody joining us. We'll do a giveaway to one member of the Patriots Club tonight. So you do have to hit that join button, folks. Support the channel. Somebody's going to win free merch tonight. Their choice. So thank you for gifting those 5 memberships. Alberta Gamer 1230 1234. I like that. Only a wingnut would try to use an act of violence from the far left as a reason to label conservatives as violent. But that's Rachel Gilmore. Like, she's rising to the occasion to manipulate and gaslight a terrible tragedy into a talking point for, again, the tolerant left. And that's where I think what's happened today, and Benny Johnson said it best, that Charlie Kirk is now a martyr. And I think that this is now going to spark the war on the woke. I think that those who were tolerant to say, we just disagree with you, I think you're going to see a massive pushback now. When you think, especially in the United States, about what they deemed as the summer of love, where people were out burning and torching businesses, rioting in the streets, and the police did nothing, I think you're going to see a lot of people on what's more the Republican or right side of the spectrum taking things into their own hands now, saying, no more. We're not putting up with it anymore.
Well, and I mentioned like some of the other people on the right side of the influencer sphere. Like the people that they keep attacking are some of the, like, your Ben Shapiro's, your Charlie Kirks. They're not fighters. They're not big dudes. But like, what happens when people like Tim Kennedy or Jocko Willink or some of these other guys, like former operators, just start to go, okay, that's fucking enough. Like we're done with this now. Like the little limp-wristed, we'll punch a Nazi Antifa guys, like they have no idea. They have no idea what could be done to them.
Well, and they're almost coaxing for more. Like, again, folks, I'm going to show you some content that's going to turn your stomach here. I really don't like promoting this, but we do have to address it. We do have to talk about it. When you look at the way it's being handled, again, more people should be focused on the fact this man was a father. He had children, a wife. He's not going home to his family. His kids grow up without a father. Yet there are those celebrating and making a mockery of what happened to Charlie. Again, folks, I take no pride in showing this, but it does paint a picture of what the world has turned into. You have Michelle Rempel-Garner. Again, if you're watching us from the United States, welcome to our American viewers. We love our American viewers. If you guys are Trump supporters, hang out in Friday's stream. I'll be doing the Trump voice and all the fun stuff on Friday. Again, we're not doing that tonight. Michelle Rempel-Garner, no House Democrats, not this. So she posts out this video from inside the House. An unbelievable moment on the House floor. Republican Lauren Boebert requests a moment of prayer for Charlie Kirk. Democrats can be heard shouting no. Then Republican Anna Paulina Luna shouts back, "Y'all caused this." Again, we got to show it for context, but take a look at what's going on here, folks.
What purpose does the gentlelady from Colorado rise? Let's wait a minute. Wait a minute. The House will be in order. The House will be in order. The House will be in order. The House will be in order.
So you can hear the squabbling in the background. It's very faint. I apologize that it's not as clear as everybody would probably think it is. But you have these wackos. Like, again, I'm not going to show too much of this. These are all people glorifying what happened to Charlie Kirk. I mean, the post reads that these people should be outed, make them unemployable, expose them. I mean, these people are sick. I don't care if this was, let's say this was Justin Trudeau, because we all know how much people love Justin Trudeau. I would not be doing this on YouTube. We wouldn't be celebrating something like this happening to Justin Trudeau. You don't parade around like a wacko when something happens. And again, I didn't want to show the video, but here's one from Kirk Lubinoff tweeting out, "The Muslims are celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. As of today, I hope the enemies of our future made themselves visible and clear enough for you." I mean, you've got Islamists celebrating what happened. You've got this lunatic. I mean, this turned my stomach when I heard it.
Breaking news, Charlie Kirk was in the neck. As of right now, I think his condition is unknown. There are a lot of people that are like, no matter what side of politics you're on, you should never celebrate something bad happening to someone. I, on the other hand, do cheer when bad things happen to bad people. So on behalf of everybody else, I got this shit. I don't know if he's going to make a recovery or not. I don't know what his condition is. It just happened as I'm filming this. I saw the video of it happening. I do not feel bad for him in the slightest, and I'm very, very much wondering what MAGA is going to react with. I wonder how they're going to make this about how Black people shouldn't be allowed guns, or trans people. They're probably going to blame a trans Black person. I don't But we can all celebrate because something really awful happened to a really, really awful guy. And
that's disturbing on so many levels.
There's so much of it. So much of it.
And again, this is the last I'm going to show about this, folks. But this shows you where it's coming from. I can't remember this, and I'm going to say influencer's name. Maybe we'll put it up. Jeffrey Marsh. That's it. Jeffrey Marsh is all over TikTok, all over YouTube, talking about trans rights, trans this, trans that. I'm not going to label who the shooter was or what their beliefs were or any of that stuff. But
before you play this,
yep.
Just watch this, look at these people, and then I'm going to queue up another video after. Just compare the two.
Yeah, let's compare. When you watch what these guys, when we talk about in Canada, especially when we were talking about Justin Trudeau and the division that he sowed amongst the country, he used division kind of like Napoleon, divide and conquer, especially during the pandemic. You don't want to get a train or a plane and sit next to people who aren't jabbed and everything else. You've got him putting people in little groups. And that's why he pushed so hard for this woke trans agenda, the tampons in men's bathrooms, we're going to recognize that, and we're going to get into it later, that, men can go to a woman's prison if they identify a certain way. But listen to this hate speech that's come out and tell me that shit like this on the internet isn't what caused what happened today.
Angry. Go out, buy a gun. It's okay to be angry.
Get out of my face now!
If you try to stop me from going into a woman's bathroom,
Excuse me, it's ma'am.
be the last mistake you ever make.
It is ma'am.
Find that anger.
Just because people. Hey!
Harness it to do good in the world. This anger.
John, man. We can just make a batch and say that some of us well.
Anger is probably my primary source of motivation.
You want to call me sir again?
The thing is, you don't have to leave.
You lose everything.
For everything that I do.
Cut that out now, or you'll go home in an ambulance.
You up.
It was a call to action or call to arms.
So again, I don't want to spend too much time on this other than what we already have, because, and I know, Matt, you've got something queued up, but when you think about Charlie Kirk, this was the stuff he was speaking against, was treating each other like this. That, as Dave Chappelle once said, you can believe whatever you want to believe about yourself, but how much am I expected to participate in your delusionary behavior? That's the problem with the world, is that we've opened a Pandora's box that allows people to believe that they could be cats, unicorns, that boys can be girls, etc. And once you've opened that box, how do you close it? I always said in Canada, one of the biggest problems when you start to say, well, men can go into women's bathrooms, or, we're going to put tampons in men's bathrooms, is once you give something to one group of people that say we want special treatment, all of them come out of the woodwork. New groups get made. New people think of new reasons to come out and say, well, you gave this to those people. Now we need some. Now we want some. And it's a huge problem. And it's one that's only going to get worse. What do you got, Matt? Let's take a look at what you've got. Because here's the comparison, folks. You see what those people were saying. Now let's look at the other side.
Political radicalism needs a catalyst. Political radicalism does not come out of peace, prosperity, rising wages, stable families, church attendance, and happy people. Happy people, grateful people do not get behind Vladimir Lenin, and they certainly don't get behind Chavez or Castro.
That's right.
People that own nothing, that feel like their property is diminishing, or they don't have property, or their dollar is diminishing in value, they start to look for alternatives. And so the political project in front of us as conservatives should be, how do we actually de-radicalize the country in the next couple of years? That's my obsession. And that's why I say I try not to think about all this other stuff, because it just, it's so much brain space. My number one obsession is I know what is coming next. Political radical.
And well, it came today.
Yeah. And that's the difference, folks. You see a guy like Charlie Kirk, who composes himself very intelligently too. Like, this guy was very smart, very well educated. Any of the talking points he had, he always had receipts for, right? And he never once told somebody, you're wrong. It was just a matter of, here's the facts. Here's the way it's laid out. Please explain to me why you feel it should be another way. And he opened discourse. He went to universities to open discourse for people to agree to disagree, but while also trying to have a civil conversation. Now you have things like this happen.
I don't know how many people in the chat, or you, for example, I don't know how much videos of his that you've watched, but over the years, you see it on your Facebook or, your YouTube, it's a reel, and it's usually him, and he's having a conversation with somebody. And they get up there in a huff, and they go, blah, 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 this and that. And he's like, okay, why do you feel that way? What do you think about this? And then they scream and they say words like hate speech and racist and transphobe and whatever else they want to bring out. And then he goes, okay, well, I think that this because of this and this and that. And they're just spitting, and it's always in the eyes, like the video we saw earlier. It's the crazy eyes, and then they can't justify it, and then they eventually leave, and then the next one comes on. And, you know, they spent years not being able to beat them with words. So I guess they finally had to use bullets.
Well, it's funny that this is going to be the catalyst that, again, Charlie Kirk wanted civil discourse, but it's going to be the catalyst for the complete opposite. Because when you look at the right side of the spectrum, and again, I don't want to label people right, left, middle, whatever, but when you look at those who typically sat on the side of the fence that agreed with Charlie Kirk, people who sat on the side of common sense, it's not about MAGA or Democrats. It's not about conservatives or liberals. It's about good versus evil here. We're talking about people with absolute hatred in their bones versus people who, again, and I get it all the time, folks. In the comment section, people say, hey, hurry up, fat boy, tell me what you want to talk about, or I hate you, or I don't like your comments, but I still watch your videos. You hear it all the time, and I don't care. I don't care. Because people have the right to express themselves, but we can agree to disagree at the end of the day and move on with things. In fact, I've met a couple of viewers who have told me in public, I don't always like what you say or agree with what you say, but I still watch your videos because I like the things you talk about. I like the things that you have to say to a certain degree. And that's what we need in this world, is more people who are able to talk to each other and more people who are able to have civil discourse and agree to disagree. I just don't know if we're ever going to get there at this point.
100%. And like I said, I am not, you bring me on because I'm a little bit different. I am not a conservative. I don't believe in the nailed God, as some of the chat is spewing right now. But I can have a conversation with anybody. Like, I'll sit down and have a conversation with a polyamorous, blue-haired they, them in my normal tone of voice. I'll be like, okay, well, what's going on with you? How do you think about that? And they can't. They literally can't. And I kept people on my personal Facebook for years, and other people would be like, how come you have that guy on your Facebook? All he does is talk about this and that, and like he spews all this communist crap on you. Because it's not good to only talk to people who have the exact same views as you. Your views need to be challenged. And you need to be able to explain your views and defend your views with words. And you need to be able to sit down and talk like we're talking right now in a normal tone of voice with somebody you absolutely despise and who absolutely despises you, or you get this. And this is where we're at. And it's been heading this way for a long time, and it's not getting any better.
No. Let me get to some honorable mentions here, and then we're going to move forward. Michael Drader, $10 super chat. Keep slamming that like button. We're already halfway to 1K. Let's win some unacceptable fringe swag. I think somebody said we were almost at 2,000 likes. Let me know in the chat in 1 second. I'm still looking at the super chats here, folks. Raptor Guy, $2 super chat. Hey, Rachel Gilmore, insert Happy Gilmore. Heckler here, you jackass. Absolutely. Thank you for the super chat. James with a $10 super chat. Ending somebody is wrong, but considering the time we live in, taxes high, food prices are high, freedoms being attacked, everyone going on and nothing being done. Again, I said it when we talked about what was happening in Nepal, what was happening around the world. You can only push an animal so far into a corner before it claws back. The problem here, folks, is what happened to Charlie Kirk today. It wasn't that animal clawing back at us. The animal on our side is about to claw back. People are furious. Absolutely furious. Keep in mind, Prime Minister Mark Carney still hasn't said a single word about this. But he's gone on to his little press conference in Edmonton, where he just said he's going to bend over Alberta, by the way. If you watched that video earlier today, no pipelines, nothing coming through. He won't even chime in on this because his kid is trans. So we know where Mark Carney stands on this. And people saying, I posted it out earlier, and people said, oh, you're trying to hold a liberal accountable. I said, no, I'm just trying to make it well known and keep the receipts that our prime minister doesn't give a shit about what happens to good people. He'll stand on the side of terrorists. Snow with a $5 super chat. Hey, Matt, I'm well aware of my temper too. That's why I don't go to protests. Thank you so much for that super chat. Wayne with a $20 super chat. Thank you. Society created evolution and wokeism, perverting and angering minds from a past society of social awareness to political perversion through woke ideology, corruption, and we have media promoting this at every media release. It is a major problem. Wayne, thank you so much for the super chat. AK with a $4 super sticker, thank you so much. Reg with a $5 super chat. I'm so pissed off that people can't have a discussion. If you don't agree, walk away. Absolutely. Michael Drader, $5 super chat, nearly 2,000 likes. So I guess we are doing a giveaway, folks. Remember, you got to be a member of the Patriots Club for that one tonight. So stick around. We will be doing a giveaway. One free item from the merch shop to one lucky viewer, folks. That's record time. Thank you, guys. Thank you. If you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, join me Friday. And I'll do it one time just for fun's sake to get away from the negativity. If you like the Donald Trump, I'm going to be doing Trump this Friday in the stream. We'll be telling those woke lefties, get your lollipops. It's going to be fun. Join me in Friday's stream, guys. Nilok with a $5 super chat. The left has no idea what they've unleashed from this. They have no idea the backlash coming by cheering this on. The behavior is disgusting. I agree. Harry gifting 5 unacceptable fringe memberships to the Patriots Club. Thank you so much for that. Nick becoming a member for 4 months. Carney for treason. I couldn't agree more. Thank you for that super chat as well. Bob saying, is that Alex Jones? You get that a lot, Matt. You get it a lot. We're going to have to.
I was actually going to mention. Oh, wow.
You're going to have to get the tinfoil hat.
I was just going to say, I was going to put my tinfoil hat on, and I also don't think, shout out to the Sky Donkey in Surrey there. I don't think we can discount the possibility, because this was very professional. That was not some random dad with his, grandpa's hunting rifle. Like, it wasn't a super hard shot, but it wasn't an easy one. And the guy got away. They have no idea where he is. You can't discount the possibility that somebody in the foreign intelligence agencies that don't like America could have done this just to piss everybody off and really incite everything. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm saying you can't discount that. To put my
somebody said it was from
real
almost.
Quick.
I think somebody said the shot was from almost 400 feet away, they estimated as well. And for those who did see the footage or just reading about it, essentially what happened was the shooter went for Charlie's chest, and Charlie was wearing a vest. The bullet actually ricocheted off the chest, catching him in the neck. So the shot wasn't meant for the neck. Absolutely devastating. What a shot. And he did hit him in the chest, 400 feet. So this was somebody who knew what they were doing. It wasn't just somebody who was angry, who went to a Walmart, got what they needed. Horrible. What's wrong with all of this, when we talk about the woman on the train that got it this week with the stabbing, when we talk about the crime that's getting out of control in our country alone, in Canada, for anybody who missed what had happened in Canada. And again, I apologize. There was a protest today. That'll be a follow-up. But today I pre-filmed the video talking about the piece of shit, there's no other way to say it, who essayed a 3-year-old girl while her parents were sleeping, trying to appeal for bail, while hundreds stood outside of the jailhouse today saying, give him to us. He's now petitioning to go to a woman's prison so that he gets things a little lighter because he's trans. He doesn't want to go deal with Bubba in a full-scale prison because he knows what's going to happen to him. Boy, they're going to love him. But Justin Trudeau bent the rules so that if you say, "Oh, I'm trans," a biological man can go to a woman's prison and have the easy life. Keep in mind that this individual, and this is just how screwed up our justice system is, folks, this individual was previously in jail for essaying a young boy, and he was sentenced to only 18 months and got out in 6. Yet Tamara Leach and Chris Barber, who are the leaders of the Freedom Convoy, are labeled with inciting mischief, and they're talking about slamming them with 8 years next month. This guy got out in 6 months.
Holding for longer than that guy was in jail, just on their charges. They were in holding for longer. Wasn't she in there for a year?
Tamara was in there for a total of about 3 months between her 2 arrests. One of those was in solitary confinement. brutal treatment.
So she did half before she was even charged with anything. She was just held for 3 months, and that guy got out in 6 months after essaying a young boy.
6 months after essaying a young boy, and then straight away it goes and does it to a 3-year-old girl. And the Canadian government says, well, we gotta consider if he wants to go to a trans women's prison, because we got to make sure they're comfortable. We got to make sure that we look after our criminals, folks.
I mean, we can solve that
what
problem
is it you
with
always
whichever
say?
prison he goes to. We can just put him feet first into the wood chipper, and then we don't care what prison he goes to.
Trial by combat. That's what I say.
I volunteer
these guys,
as champion.
Yeah, I happily pledge. This is why our society is so screwed up, and this is why I think, folks, after what happened today, this is why I'm. And again, we got a lot of American viewers in here that don't really follow Canadian politics, but this is why I think in Canada, in the United States, I think things are going to change. I think things have to change. That when they start to say, well, we want to make sure that we're tolerant about it, people are going to start saying, yeah, shove it. We don't care. No more tolerance. No more nice guy. No more, hey, people are dying. People are being attacked by lunatics. The patients are running the asylum. So enough is enough. When you look at what's happening in Nepal, go ahead.
Sorry, I see some stuff in the chat, and you're literally doing exactly what we're not supposed to do. You're saying like death to all LGBTQs. No, come on now. Don't do that.
No. Like, what we have to do is be better. Like, we can rise up against this, but we can't. How do you say it without saying it? You can't be equal to them.
You and I, you can remember, like when we were, younger kids, teenagers, and then adults going to bars and stuff. Like, I knew gay people. I still know gay people. They're fine. You want to be gay? Be gay. Go there. But somewhere along the lines, in the last 10 years or whatever, the movement of, hey, we just, don't beat us up and let us love who we love. That's fine. Great. If you want to wear a dress when you're at home alone or, out at the bar. I went to drag shows in the early 2000s. They were nice people. They were fine. But what is going on now is completely different. The movement has been hijacked. People I know who used to go to Pride in the early 2000s don't go anymore. And they're like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, it's not the same.
So I see in the chat people saying, oh, you're sticking up for the criminals. No, not at all. What I'm saying is that I can't incite violence on YouTube. It's against policy. It's against TOS. Don't gaslight like that. You guys, we just can't have it in the chat. Okay? Be civil, please. That's all we're asking. When you look at what happened in Nepal this week, and that was just over free speech in the internet, as well as other people said, well, it was corruption. It led on to this. One thing I pointed out in that video yesterday was that you look at what's happening in Nepal with the uprising. 19 dead and over 100 injured. Trying to stand up because their government censored Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all the social media platforms. They're restricting their free speech. They're restricting their ability to access information. Very authoritarian. Kind of sounds like somewhere we currently live. Keep in mind, in Canada, again, for our American viewers, our current prime minister is talking about the Internet Harm Act. And they dress it up and say, well, it's protect your children. We're trying to make sure your kids are safe online, when really what it's all about is we control what you consume online. So we can ban people who talk nasty about the government. We can shut down Twitter or X. You had Rob Ford pulling out of contracts with Starlink. Jagmeet Singh before the federal election saying we should ban X in Canada. X was once, or not X, TikTok was banned in the United States. So you see all these things happening where censorship is becoming a key volatile role in what's going to happen with people's ability to gain information. And the problem when you start taking away people's rights to express themselves, people's freedom of speech, when the government believes that they have the right to tell you what to do in your everyday lives, especially in Canada, we're being told what you can drive, who you can be around, what you must put in your body, where you can go for what hours during the pandemic. We're told
which woods you can hike in.
Where, yeah, you can't go in the woods. You can't use water in the summertime. You can't go to a pool in the summer when it's hot outside because climate, we're controlling everything. The problem with the government is that they've become authoritarian and they're failing to realize that their job is to pass policy, not to tell me what the hell to do with my life, where I can go, who I can be around, what I can do to my body, who comes over to my house. That's not your jurisdiction. You don't have control over that. And what you're seeing in Nepal, what you're going to see in the United States after today with Charlie Kirk, what you're going to see around the world are people who have been very tolerant to a degree of what's been happening. Sure, we all sit on the internet and bitch and complain about it on YouTube, but you're going to see people pushing for civil war at this point. They've had enough of authoritarianism. They've had enough of being told to swallow this giant pill of wokeism while the government refuses to do anything about it when it comes back at us. I think the system is about to crumble. Miss Danny, I know people are probably think we're ignoring the chat. It's moving so fast tonight, folks.
It's crazy fast. Like I'm trying to read it while you're talking, and I can't even read it all.
It says, I think civil war is coming. I think you're right. Listen, folks,
and
I'm going to get to.
There was
Go
an
ahead.
RCMP report from last year. RCMP report saying Canada is likely to revolt within the next few years. Deliberately, you can look it up online. You can read it right now. So all of a sudden, this whole we've banned every firearm on the list and we're going to take them becomes a little sus.
I'm going to get to some honorable mentions, and then chat, we're going to do something we've never done before. We're going to turn it over to you guys. I'm going to try to find some things you guys want to talk about in light of this in the chat, and we'll run the rest of the show around that because, again, the chat often moves quickly. We're unable to see those things. So I'll focus on the chat as much as we can because as much as I can sit here and talk with Matt about how much this affects us, I know that what happened today, even though you've never met Charlie, personally, or some of you may have at, rallies or events or whatever. I'm certainly not going to say you haven't, but it's affecting people on a larger scale. And we're going to get into that. Saved by Grace with a $10 super chat. I don't like fake news, so I don't watch it. This is so awful. Thank you for true reporting. You're more than welcome. Nilok with a $2 super chat. Cash Patel says they have the guy. I've heard that.
They questioned him and let him go already.
They questioned and let one guy go, and then they said about 10 minutes before the stream that they confirmed they had somebody. So again, once it's more clear as to what's going on, I'll keep you guys updated. We'll do updated videos, so stick around for that. Kevin with the $2 super chat. Prison Gladiator fights, Mad Max Thunderdome. Yeah, that'd be nice. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Jay Peterson, $10 super chat. That guy won't have an easier time in the women's prison either. They'll treat him badly. Yeah, but he shouldn't get the ability to try and take the lesser of two evils. You can't reason or try to be kind and generous to those committing crimes. Pierre Poilievre said it today. Throw him in jail, lock him up, throw away the key. I agree with that assessment. Snow with a $2 super chat. Thank you so much. At what point do we stop turning the other cheek? I think we're there. Thank you for the super chat. So. Yeah, I hope so too. Raptor Guy, $5 super chat. The social justice warriors these days should be called social vengeance warriors. Most of them. Bradley Wilcox, $5 super chat. Canada is going to become the same way. Independence all the way. Go Alberta. I think we're headed there. And I think, again, the more the government ignores things like this alongside the project that it's refusing to move forward with, it's only going to push people to say there's no safety anymore. There's no living in this dystopian nightmare. We need out. Tony, becoming a member for a month. Let's also not forget 9/11's tomorrow, that we lost 2,977 people. Absolutely. Even all these years later, 24 years later, it's still one of the largest tragedies, at least I've ever witnessed in human history. Aaron Morrison, $5 super chat. No. We are better than this chat. Come on, keep it together. Otherwise, the left will win. Would Charlie want that? No, sir. Let's do it right. Thank you for the $5 super chat.
Look at the videos I posted earlier. Like, don't be screaming death to everyone else. What would Charlie do?
Yep. Noah with another $5 super chat. Thank you so much. We need more Charlie Kirks in the world. Use your voice. Stand up for the beliefs. It's too late. Be proud, unapologetic in your beliefs. Thank you so much. Kevin with the $5 super chat. Many are saying today is the turning point from moderate conservatives to fighting regressives, fighting against the progressives. I hope when we say fighting, I hope that it's done in a way that, yeah, maybe some people are going to get punched in the nose, but I hope it's done in a way that the point is proven. And like I said, we've opened a Pandora's box here. Hopefully we can put some of that nonsense back inside at the end of it and close the lid. That's my hope. But thank you for the super chat. Randall, with a $7 super chat, is Calgary worth moving to? I'm in the lower mainland of BC. Calgary, so I left Calgary after 30 years because crime was running rampant. The mayor didn't care about anything. They're turning very woke. There's a lot of Indian migrants flooding into that town. In fact, the northeast end of Calgary has now been dubbed Brown Town because of that. Not by myself, a lot of residents. So that's just a stereotype. My advice, if you're thinking of moving to Calgary, it's a beautiful city. But my advice is wait for the election in October and see if Sonia Sharp wins the election or Jeremy Farkas. If one of them wins the election, then I could say it might be within your interests to move to Calgary because they'll clean it up, hopefully. But keep your eyes on that one. Jay Peterson, another $10 super chat. YouTube wouldn't let me say what I really thought the women would do. Well, I appreciate the $10 super chat. Thank you. BJM, $5 super chat. He died for the unborn. He died for Christians. He died for equality. He died for his country. Rest in peace, Charlie. Best wishes to you both. Thank you so much for the super chat. I'm going to start going through the chat. We're going to see what we can talk about here. If you guys want to bring anything up, if you want me to pull anything up, let's get into the chat. Let's get into the chat.
Let's do it.
Freedom lovers need to move west in Canada. You got Mike TV Dub saying, spoken like a true U.S. patriot. Thank you for the donation. Thank you very much as well. Mago, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, saying this event changes the world. It does. Bad Anger Management, $7 super chat. Anywhere in Alberta is better than BC. Get out ASAP. Well, that's my brother, by the way. And yeah, he does live in BC for the time being. And I agree. I agree. Let's see if anybody's got anything to say.
I feel like we're missing out on so much. I mean, like Russia sent drones and bombed Poland, and they're invoking NATO articles, and the protests in Nepal, and Israel's striking Qatar. Like, there's so much happening this week, but this Charlie Kirk thing has really just taken it all over because it's so intense and so visceral, and it's brand new. It happened this morning.
Saved by Grace is a very good point, because this is one thing, again, a lot of people reached out to me today, and again, it's something we should touch on. He's trying very hard not to turn into a hateful person. It's difficult. It's very difficult. And again, I'm not going to play the, I know everything because I experience it card. I'm just saying from my own personal views. I had the talk with the wife today because, folks, I haven't taken a single day off of YouTube since we moved to Spruce Grove back in April. I've been going 7 days a week all the time. And when I'm not here on the computer, I'm looking at news stories. I'm on Twitter. I'm on YouTube. I'm getting my information together. I'm talking to viewers. I'm answering Discords, all these things. It doesn't stop till about 1 a.m. daily for me. And I said to Mrs. Fringe, the problem when you're doing that all day, when you're in front of it all day, when you see things all day, and I've said this to you guys on live streams, you don't get a break to go outside and just breathe. Put the devices down, shut everything off. The best way to not turn into a hateful person, folks, take a break, shut everything down. After this, of course, you make sure to watch The Fringe. But
as we gamers say, go touch grass.
Go touch grass. Get outside and experience life a little bit. Yes, horrible things are going to happen. I got news for you. The rest of your life, horrible things are going to happen. We cannot base our reality around the actions of a few. Yes, those things are horrific. Yes, I think what happened today is going to kickstart a revolution in a very negative way. But hopefully the end result is positivity moving forward. So make sure you take your time off.
I said last week I was going to try to find some positive stories for this week, and like the entire week I felt like the whole world went fucking insane all in 1 week.
You know what's funny? I put out a video this morning about a guy in Prince George, British Columbia, who was arrested for driving drunk down a road with a Barbie's Power Wheels Jeep. I mean, it was a hilarious story, and I thought that's a good thing to talk about today. And then all of a sudden, everything like this happens, and it's, well, here we are talking about the loss of Charlie Kirk. I think somebody said he was 31. Is that it?
Yep, 31.
That's
with a wife and 2 young daughters.
Horrible. Open Door Policy Podcast, $2 super chat. 7 Fires Prophecy. Please bring it up. It's important.
I have
Okay,
no idea what that is.
Well, I'll have to take a look because we can't just bring it up if I don't know what it is. It may not be safe for stream. What is it? 7 Fires Prophecy? Detailing appearance of history. Oh, here we go. 7 Fires Prophecy. It's a Anishinaabe prediction detailing periods of their history. Anishinaabe, is that how it's pronounced? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Detailing periods of their history and their future journey, beginning with their movement west from their ancestral lands. Each fire represents a phase of time and challenges, particularly concerning their encounter with the light-skinned race. Oh, we can't get into this stuff. What does this have to do with? What does this have to do with what happened to Charlie Kirk? I appreciate the super chat, and I know some people are going to say this is why you don't turn it over to the chat. As soon as I saw that, we're not going to talk about that. I'm sorry. That's not for this stream. We're not having a clan meeting here. We're gonna try and talk about what happened today. Marika, I'm gonna move to Alberta. I know she's been talking about that for a while. The Truth Bro saying Charlie spoke softly, but we do need to carry the big stick as well. Absolutely. And again, I think you're going to see that big stick getting swung over the next little while. Comedy, did you hear about the guy who was attacked on a bus in BC? We did. I've heard about all of that. And again, there's only so much I want to report on that on the channel because, again, you want to get out news, you want to get out positivity amongst the negativity at some points. It can't always be negative. And again, you see guys like Charlie Kirk that spoke about, I'm just here to educate, I'm just here to get people information. We don't need to pick who's right, who's wrong. We need to take an example out of Charlie's book and be more like that. We need to start telling, and this is where I say, if you're in the United States, if you message your members of Congress, your governor's offices, in Canada, message your MPs, your MPPs, start telling them that, hey, look, regardless of what you're doing right now, at some point in time, you come around to my house looking for votes. You come to my neighborhood looking for votes. I'm in control of your job. If you want to remain employed, you're going to have to do something about this shit, and you're going to have to do it quickly because we can't live like this anymore. Teresa Stokes is the name of the judge, the recent murder on the bus? Yes. Yeah. Me man saying I'm done being nice. I get it. I hear you. I mean, so you're going to see comments like this. Look where that got him. But it wasn't because of his book that this happened. This is because of a nut job. This is somebody who's off their medication, somebody who can't agree with politics. And it's funny because, like, look, Matt, when we were growing up, we grew up in the 80s and 90s. Anytime you would talk about politics, how often did our parents talk about politics? Especially in front of us.
I never really. Once in a while, you'd hear somebody, Dan Mulroney and the GST, your uncle, or something at Thanksgiving, but it wasn't as prevalent as it was today. And the reason why it's so prevalent is because it's gotten so insane. It's invaded every facet of our lives.
Well, social media plays a large portion.
Well, that also doesn't help either.
But the thing when I was growing up was, and I've mentioned this before, and Matt, you know my father very well. One of the things he told me on my wedding day was there's 3 arguments in life you're never going to win: religion, politics, and everything else. And what he meant by that is that, you shouldn't waste your time talking about things like politics or religion because you're never going to convince somebody else to view the world the way you view it. It's an uphill battle. You're literally Sisyphus pushing a boulder up a hill, hoping that somebody else will take that boulder off your hands and say, I get it too. I'm going to push for you. It's not going to happen. Now, I understand how hypocritical that is being a YouTuber who talks about politics, But as Matt states, it's become so prevalent in everybody's lives. It was considered rude less than 30 years ago when I was growing up to discuss politics in front of
Like,
people.
I didn't know who my parents voted for. They never talked to me about it, even like older, like 15, 16 and stuff. Like, that wasn't a thing. And same with teachers. Like, I didn't, and this is another thing kind of going off on a side tangent here, but like, if my daughter is in elementary school and she knows who her teacher voted for, what their sexual orientation is, or which God they pray to, you're doing it wrong. Keep all of your ideologies out of school. I don't care which one it is. Teach her how to do math, teach her how to read, and then that's it. No ideologies, regardless of what kind.
7K with a $5 super chat.
And their child.
Yes. Do you believe that there might be retaliatory attacks for Charlie? What do you think, Matt?
I mean, it is possible. There's a lot of very angry people out there, but I mean, I brought up earlier some of the operator influencers like a Jocko Willink or a Tim Kennedy, and it's just, and even, you know, I'm not an operator, obviously, but I mean, even it's not our way. We're not offensive, you know, like I'm not going to grab my shovel and go out there and start digging random places. Like, there would have to be some sort of thing happening in order for me to line up on the line and fight. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's also kind of our problem. You'd look awful lonely up there on the hill by yourself with your shovel. So, I mean, somebody has to take the first step, I guess. I don't know who's going to do it or if they're going to do it. But, yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what's going to happen. It's been less than 24 hours. We're going to have to see. A lot of it might depend on when they catch the guy and they find out who he is and why he did it and what they do with him.
Yeah. Marcus Aurelius with a $5 super chat. I really believe that Alberta will leave, then Saskatchewan, and I believe that if not, then BC. And believe it or not, then BC. I think you'll get BC if they could find a way to get away from Vancouver Island and Vancouver. Depending on how that vote would affect whether or not they could separate, or they would almost have to, because you can't have Saskatchewan, Alberta as their own republic, and then possibly Manitoba, and then, you know, BC is still Canada over on the other side. The pressure would be there for them to do the same, but we'll get to that on Friday's stream. But again, thank you so much for the super chat. Jay Peterson, $10 super chat. After today's events, Trump might be angry enough to let the oil in Line 9 go to Michigan and then shut the valve and keep it from going into Ontario. I don't know if that's going to have an influence after what happened today, but I'll never count Trump out on that one. And he'd be well within his rights to do that, by the way. Badass Custom Coatings, becoming a new member of the Patriots Club. Thank you so much. One Fast Dak with a $14 super chat. We can always disagree or agree, but always respect life. And that's what we're trying to say. Thank you for putting the words in my mouth properly. You have to understand, folks, as I run a show, I'm looking at the screen. I'm looking at my screen over here with the news stuff on it, looking at the camera, looking at the chat. It's like driving a car. You're not looking at one specific place all the time. So sometimes my words get confuffled, but thank you for saying it like it is, and for the super chat. Brian, $5 super chat. Conservative people have been tolerant and civil. We've welcomed peaceful debate. The left meets difference in opinion with violence. Charlie is proof. I couldn't agree more. Mark with a $2 super chat. You seen the ring switch fingers in slow motion? I'm not sure what that means. I mean, thank you for the $2 super chat. I'm not sure what we're talking about here. Bradley Wilcox for the $5 super chat. It's time to push our premier to do the independence vote and what it would take to do a petition to push them to do it. Again, I've reached out to Danielle's team after what we found out from Mark Carney today. I'll be reaching out to get that information. Again, maybe we'll talk about that on Friday's stream. Thank you so much for that super chat. I want to highlight something Billboard Chris said, because the question became, do we ever think, you know, these things can happen to other people? Billboard Chris tweets out, I hear this dozens of times a day. Get security, Chris. Basic security easily costs $1,000 a day. Do you not all realize that I stand on the street making no money? Yes, security would be great. It's not possible. This is a war where thousands of kids are being harmed, and I'm not stopping what I'm doing because I know how much it works. It is what it is. First off, Billboard Chris is not poor. Now, I'm not going to justify him spending $1,000 a day for security. And usually when he does videos, you do see people around with him, whether it's a camera crew or anybody else. I don't want to downplay what he's saying, but him saying I make no money, that's a bit of an understatement. Chris, come on, you can do better than that. But of course, he's quoting out this tweet that said this could easily happen to you. I hope you can switch up your strategy a bit to mitigate the risks. Maybe some armed bodyguards. If you come to my region, I'd be happy to volunteer. This is going to be a concern now when you look at campus videos, campus.
I mean, anywhere, really.
Anything of public speaking. I mean, again, when you look at what is it, Youth America or whatever it is that Shapiro and Charlie Kirk were all a part of on speech tours, will people be going to universities to speak at all anymore? What's guys like Steven Crowder going to do moving forward? I mean, your guess is as good as mine. Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Steven Crowder might be saying, "I'm not going to the universities anymore because my health is at risk." Change my mind.
Beastly Burden in the chat. Hate spewing clown Charlie is definitely not in heaven. Please tell me where he spewed hate. Please show me a video of him spewing hate. He asks questions and has a debate. I can't with these people.
Noah has a very good point here. Armed bodyguards did nothing for Kirk, gunned down from 400 feet away. He was also wearing a vest. The bullet ricocheted off the vest. So technically the vest did its job. It's just unfortunate the bullet hit the vest and up into his neck. The reality here, folks, no matter which way you slice it, first off, university campuses are way past jumping the shark. They're nothing more than breeding grounds for woke ideologies. At least that's what I see anytime I watch footage from the universities, the campuses, and the jobs that those programs transition to for today's youth. Kids go in there and they go massively into debt to be taught woke ideologies and gender studies by, people who shouldn't be teaching. The biggest problem, and you can't secure every facility or monitor every single person that goes in, but there's definitely a relaxed level of security around those places that something like this was able to happen. Because I hate to break it to people, to go on top of a rooftop, and they had footage of the guy running as soon as he shot. But to get up on a rooftop, first off, he had to get in a building carrying this rifle. They're not tiny, right? And I doubt it's one that he had to assemble on the rooftop. So how do you get past the main doors of a university through access to stairwells to a roof? Usually, and again, only in my experience, anytime you're hanging around a building, usually if you're going to get to roof access, you need a key of some kind or some ability to get up into a locked area, an access area of the roof. How are people, these are the questions I'd be asking the Utah University is, how did this guy get access to the roof? How did he get in with a rifle to commit this act unnoticed? Do they not have CCTV? Do they not have proper security? There were a lot of people at this event. I'd say at least a couple thousand. But security be damned. As it was said earlier, there was no level of security that could have helped him. Maybe they need to do so I saw it in the chat. Somebody said the Pope Mobile. Maybe that's what they need. Something like the Pope Mobile. These guys are going to have to walk behind bulletproof glass. I don't know what else to suggest.
I think that just kind of defeats the purpose of it all. He was involved. He would have conversations with people 5 feet away from him, and I think even, let's say he passed, obviously, but let's say he survived this. I don't think he would have changed a thing. I think he would have lived and kept going, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
In the same way. Yeah. So, if you start putting yourself behind bulletproof glass and whatever else, then, you've already lost.
Well, look at Donald Trump. Somebody tried to take him out. And he got up and said, fight, and he pumped his fists in the air and he was right back at it. That guy just doesn't quit. Yet you've got, and again, he hasn't done any, I'm sure he has enhanced security at these events. I'm sure that it's amped up a bit. But you can't 100% protect somebody who's out in the open like that.
Even if you have close body security near you, they're going to have sidearms, not rifles. They're not going to be able to snap a guy 400 feet away up on top of a roof with their sidearm if they even saw him first.
Yeah. Terry saying, Derek, you enter a university with a somewhat dirty mind and get a good brainwashing for the price of a house each year. But that's the biggest problem. And I see it all the time. Especially again, and I have to use Canada as the example. I don't know about America. I don't know about American universities, unless you go to like Yale or Brown or Stanford or something. But in Canada, you see people going to universities, and unless they're taking, high degree programs like being an engineer or a doctor or a lawyer, a lot of these folks go to universities and walk out with hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt for jobs that pay $50,000-$60,000 a year. They're never going to pay off. If they can get one, because now they're competing with temporary foreign workers and a job market that really doesn't care about their level of non-experience. They leave with handfuls of debt and no hope for a future. Universities, in my mind, and I remember having this talk with my folks in the early 2000s. I remember wanting to get into broadcasting after high school, and SAIT in Calgary, their broadcasting program was very popular. And again, it was more because I had an interest in it, and it was only a 2-year program. But I couldn't get in because the waiting list was massive. And my folks said, well, why don't you look into something else to go to university with? And I said, university is useless. There's book smart, and then there's life smart. And you can get yourself into a good job, work your way up, learn a thing or two about how things operate, and run your way up a ladder. Now, I was very fortunate that my father ran his own home business. He took me onto his company at one point after I'd already dipped my toes in a couple of different jobs. But I learned a thing or two in those jobs to move me onto those jobs. And I've turned out, well, look at me now. I'm living the dream on YouTube. That's, but it really is like, for anybody who says you need to go to university, as a 7-time best-selling author and YouTuber now, I can tell you right now, you don't need university for nothing. It's useless. It's pointless unless you're learning a trade, or unless you're going again to be a doctor or an engineer or something along those lines. It's a waste of time.
You don't really get trade skills from university anyways. There's trade schools for that. And speaking as somebody, I went into a trade. I didn't go to school for it. I just picked it up. I'm a flooring installer, tile setter. And like AI is going to replace a lot of those university degree jobs where, you're just whatever you're researching, calculations, a lot of that stuff. But it's going to be a long time before the AI and the robots start framing houses or putting roofs in or plumbing. So tell your kids, ladies and gentlemen, get yourselves into a trade.
Yep. Trades are the way to go. Ron with a good comment here. You can't get a job with a university degree unless you're an immigrant. And it's true. It's true. That's where we are, folks. Keedy saying I dropped out in primary school. Well, well, you're here today, so things must have turned out okay. T saying university only makes you book smart. Trade colleges make you skilled with practical knowledge. I agree fully with that. Again, my kids, I'll always push them to do something along that as they get older. My kids can do whatever they want to do. I mean, I'll let them follow their own path. But if they say to me, hey, I'm going to go to university for gender studies, I'm going to say, the hell you are. That's where I'll intervene and say, I'm going to take you outside and, beat you with a rubber hose for a little while. Maybe you'll come to your senses.
Or even a lot of those courses you take, like you have to take 4 years of nonsense to get your BA or whatever before you can even start learning the actual practical thing you want to learn.
David saying you're missing major super chats. I'm going to get into those. I don't want people thinking we're only reading super chats in the stream. Again, we have 2,000 people in here. We've had 2,000 plus tonight. I don't want anybody thinking we're ignoring the main chat. But let's get to those. Open the Door Policy Podcast, $2 super chat. Maybe the excuse for martial law. Watch Chicago. We'll keep our eyes on it. Mark with a $2 super chat. It's slow-mo. It looks like his ring switches fingers. I don't want to go back and watch that video. I didn't notice that, but I'll just take your word for it. Thank you for the super chat as well, Mark. Dutchy, $139 super chat. Thank you so much. Very upset about Charlie. This is why the fight for speech means so much. Thank you for all you do, Derek. Thank you for coming in here tonight and spending time with us on the stream. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you just for hitting the like button, folks. This channel doesn't exist without its viewers. Free speech is important, but it's important for all of us. In fact, free speech and the ability to choose is what spawned this channel in the first place. It was during the pandemic, and people were fed up. We need to get back to a society where government realizes that we're in charge of them, and they work for us, not the other way around.
Free speech is free speech for everybody or nobody.
Exactly. You can't pick and choose. And somebody needs to tell that to the woke left.
Mm-hmm.
Harry Ludwig with $5 super chat, worried about Francis Widdowson, now too. I don't know who that is. You'll have to forgive me. I followed the mains.
There's been a lot the last 48 hours. There's been a lot.
Yep. So if they're bigger, if I've missed the train on that one, I apologize. We should worry about everybody who does this. Worry about Fringe, guys. I'm going to go outside tomorrow and somebody's going to run me over. It's Nilok, $2 super chat. Consequences are the only way to fix this. I agree to an extent. Again, I can't promote violence on the channel, folks. I can't side with that stuff. So please understand it's not pandering. It's not shilling. It's not any of that stuff. I'm as angry as the rest of you, but there are rules on the platform I have to follow. Grandma Lynn with a $7 super chat. I'm sad to add more sad news to this day, but were you aware of a school shooting in Colorado at about the same time as Charlie was shot? I wasn't.
I did see something about that, but it was shortly before we started, so I didn't have time to look into it or bring anything up. But I will after.
Well, I'll be doing follow-ups on what happened to Charlie Kirk, and I'll do my best to make sure that I get that included in that video. Again, folks, this is the tip of the iceberg. As I said at the beginning of the stream, Benny Johnson made it very well known. Charlie was a martyr at this point. Things are going to get worse before they get better. Noah with a $2 super chat. Get a Red Seal trade and make six figures. Absolutely. Thank you for the super chat. Alberta Gamer, $2 super chat. I see a future people are holograms to stay safe. I mean, but again, that's not real live, real in person, I guess. Nilok, $2 super chat. Trump just dropped a response from the White House. Let's pull that up after we get to this one. Joey gifting 5 unacceptable Fringe memberships to the Patriots Club. Thank you so much. Welcome to our Patriots Club members. Stick around, folks, because again, I'll be doing a giveaway to one member of the Patriots Club tonight. Your choice of an item from our shop. But you have to be in the stream in order to get that. Let's get to Donald Trump. Let's see about his statement. I'm sure
Sarah King in the chat. Charlie would have had a conversation with the shooter if he was able to. You're absolutely fucking right. He would have. He would have been. Yep. So why did you decide to shoot me?
Okay, so Trump did make a statement. It's on video here. I'm going to share the screen. We're going to bring it in. Let's hear what President Trump has to say. We'll do it live. Here we go, folks.
To my great fellow Americans, I am filled with grief and anger at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk on a college campus in Utah. Charlie inspired millions, and tonight, all who knew him and loved him are united in shock and horror. Charlie was a patriot who devoted his life to the cause of open debate and the country that he loved so much, the United States of America. He fought for liberty, democracy, justice, and the American people. He's a martyr for truth and freedom, and there's never been anyone who was so respected by youth. Charlie was also a man of deep, deep faith, and we take comfort in the knowledge that he is now at peace with God in heaven. Our prayers are with his wife, Erica, the two young, beloved children, and his entire family, who he loved more than anything in the world. We ask God to watch over them in this terrible hour of heartache and pain. This is a dark moment for America. Charlie Kirk traveled the nation, joyfully engaging with everyone interested in good faith debate. His mission was to bring young people into the political process, which he did better than anybody ever, to share his love of country and to spread the simple words of common sense. On campuses nationwide, he championed his ideas with courage, logic, humor, and grace. It's a long past time for all Americans and the media to confront the fact that violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree day after day, year after year, in the most hateful and despicable way possible. For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today, and it must stop right now. My administration will find each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity and to other political violence, including the organizations that fund it and support it, as well as those who go after our judges, law enforcement officials, and everyone else who brings order to our country. From the attack on my life in Butler, Pennsylvania last year, which killed a husband and father, to the attacks on ICE agents, to the vicious murder of a healthcare executive in the streets of New York, to the shooting of House Majority Leader Steve Scalise and 3 others, radical left political violence has hurt too many innocent people and taken too many lives. Tonight, I ask all Americans to commit themselves to the American values for which Charlie Kirk lived and died, the values of free speech, citizenship, the rule of law, and the patriotic devotion and love of God. Charlie was the best of America, and the monster who attacked him was attacking our whole country. An assassin tried to silence him with a bullet, but he failed, because together we will ensure that his voice, his message, and his legacy will live on for countless generations to come. Today, because of this heinous act, Charlie's voice has become bigger and grander than ever before, and it's not even close. May God bless his memory. May God watch over his family, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Powerful message from Donald Trump. And people saying this is AI, this is straight from his account. This isn't AI. This isn't, you call it whatever you want to. You have a right to free speech, but you got to be a special kind of stupid to think that that's AI. I'm sorry. That's very well spoken. Amazing statement. With Trump again encouraging people that we need to project Charlie's message and move forward, that while there will be consequences, while there will be justice for what happened to Charlie, it's important that we don't behave the same. I understand people are angry. I'm angry. We're all angry. And that anger is going to get projected, folks. I'm not going to pretend it's not.
I'm a lot less angry now than I was when we started. I was like livid and ready to say fuck every second word when we started.
Radio Reaction, we have many specials who are stupid in Canada, we know.
That's a global issue.
It is a global issue. Kenzie Kraken gifted 5 more memberships to the Patriots Club. Thank you so much. Patricia with a super chat, being a member for 2 months. Thank you so much, saying pray. Another super chat for $5. Thank you for this. Prayers for Charlie and his family. That's the most important thing to remember here tonight, folks, is that, again, a husband was killed in cold blood today. His children will never see their father again. A wife will never see her husband again. Parents will never see their son again. What's happened in the United States over free speech, the right to express yourself, is a complete and utter travesty. Again, I'll be keeping you guys up to date as things move forward with what happened to Charlie Kirk, with more crimes. Again, if you think retaliations aren't coming, folks, my fear is that the lid's about to get blown off. What you see Trump talking about here is trying to calm before the storm. People aren't going to listen to rationality anymore, I don't think. There are those, much like the guy who took Charlie's life today, that are going to say, nah, I'm done playing nice. I'm putting it in my own hands. And again, we'll cover that here on the channel should that come forward. But on that note, folks, yeah, John's saying it's calm before the storm, no doubt. There you go.
Somebody else, I couldn't remember their name because the chat's scrolling so fast, was like, yeah, they'll forget about it by Friday when the new Hollywood movie comes out and the game comes on. And you know,
I don't think
it's,
so.
It may or may not, but it's like it's a lot like that with the 24-hour news cycle. Like people, you got a week, and it's people forget so easy.
Storm says no more debate. It's going to get hostile. It is going to get hostile. Again, I want to iterate. Thank you to Donald Trump for at least being the president everybody is. I wish we had leadership like that in Canada. Mark Carney still has said nothing. I've checked online. Not a peep from Mark Carney, Prime Minister of Canada, about how free speech was drowned out today in cold blood.
He can't hear because his elbows are up high, covering his ears.
His elbows are up too high. It's disappointing because it does make Canada look bad. Keep in mind, he represents this country. It makes us look bad. I can assure you, every Canadian who has common sense in this country sides with America and feels the pain of their loss just as great as Americans feel. Charlie Kirk was and will be remembered as an amazing patriot, a very intelligent, well put together man with good values, great rhetoric. And all I will wrap up with is may he forever rest in peace. Very, very horrible loss today. And again, I usually don't get this riled up or this upset over the loss of a figure, a political figure, or any kind of famous person or well-known figure. But this one, there was something about this one that just makes you choke up inside that says this isn't right. Patricia gifted 5 more unacceptable fringe memberships to the Patriots Club. Thank you so much. OAO says Andrew Scheer talked about it. Pierre talked about it. Danielle talked about it. Mark Carney has a dildo in certain places. Yeah. I mean, and it's true. Look, conservatives came out full force saying we condemn this. This is why laws have to change in our country. This is why things need to improve in Canada. And the liberals are just going to go on liberaling. Mark Carney said less than 2 weeks ago, Pride season is over. It's now an all-year thing. I mean, all because, it's a conflict of interest because his child is trans. You know darn well that with everything the trans community feels about Charlie Kirk, I'd be surprised if Mark Carney says anything at all. And if he does say something eventually, it's going to be ham-fisted and really poorly put together. Fake, phony. Did I miss it? I don't think I missed anybody else in the super chat section. Folks, let's get to our giveaway tonight. Let's get a giveaway going. Again, keep in mind, folks, you need to be a member of the Patriots Club for this giveaway. I want to thank everybody who joined us on stream tonight. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet. Join me Friday. It's going to be a lot happier here. AI Trump will not be around, but good old Donald here on the Fringe. I'll be around. We'll be talking about everything else. Because, boy, we missed out on a lot of stuff that was happening in the world tonight. I've got the old wheel of fortuitousness going on. Again, you must be in the chat to win and a Patriots Club member. Midnight Storms. Is Midnight Storms in the chat still? The old wheel of fortuitousness has chosen... I just got to see if they pop up in the chat. We'll give it a few seconds. If we don't see them pipe in, we'll redraw.
Spin it again.
Midnight Storms, are you in the chat? I thought I saw it. Oh, here it is. Yes, I am. Redraw. Oh, Kathy Ray. That's Kathy Ray. Kathy has one before. We'll redraw, respin. Sarah King. Is Sarah King? Thank you for letting me know about that, Kathy. Is Sarah King still in the stream?
She should be. I shouted out one of her comments earlier, actually.
There she is, Sarah King. Congratulations, you're tonight's winner on the draw. Thank you again for everybody who hit the like button. Sarah, your mission, should you choose to accept it, head over to one of our videos on the channel. Again, I don't have the link open because I really didn't think we were doing a giveaway before we started the stream tonight, but we got to have a little bit of upbeat during these down times. If you head over to one of our other videos, you'll find the shop button down below one of our videos. Head over to our shop, pick any item you wish, whether it's a t-shirt, a hat, a hoodie, whatever you like. Then try and take a screenshot. If not, get a full description of the item you want. If it's clothing, make sure you get the size, the color, the pattern, everything about it that you can tell me within 24 hours. Sorry, usually Mrs. Fringe types this out on our streams. Unacceptable Fringe YT, as in YouTube. Unacceptable Fringe YT at gmail.com. I'll put it up on the screen for you here. This is where you want to send me an email with the item that you've chosen, alongside your shipping information, a phone number so that the shippers can get a hold of you if you're not around when the package is delivered. I've had a few people call me and say, I never got what you sent me and blah, blah, blah. But it's because they showed up with the package and they didn't have a phone number to say I'm outside or where should I leave it. So Unacceptable Fringe YT, as in YouTube, at gmail.com. Send me a screenshot or a description of the item you've chosen within 24 hours, and I will get that sent out to you. I want to thank everybody who super chatted tonight, everybody who participated in the stream, everybody who hit the like button, who just watched the stream. A record turnout tonight, folks. Thank you to everybody who came out. Again, it was sad to lose the Celtic Canuck. We wish her all the best in her future endeavors with her medical issues and whatnot. But hey, Matt and I will be here in future weeks. We're going to get a new format rolling on this show to keep you guys tuned in. So if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, hit the button, folks. Join us every Wednesday, same time, same channel for Unhinged Fringe. Join me Friday, same time, 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central for Friday Night Fringe with Mrs. Fringe. Hopefully a lighter tone. Hopefully nothing more
for next week. If nothing insane happens, I'm going to try and find something good to talk about. I swear.
Yeah, we'll try and find something a little more uplifting next week. We'll try and get to some good news. Maybe something bad will have happened to the person who shot at Charlie Kirk. Who knows? We'll have something to talk about next week, folks. From Matt and myself, from everybody here at Unacceptable Fringe, thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight. Look after yourselves, please. Don't forget to put your stuff down at some point. Go outside, touch grass, take a breather. Life seems bad when you're hearing all the negativity. Taking a break once in a while is a good thing to free your mind of all the negativity. Again, another super chat just popped in. Marcus, I was surprised to see that Trump did a pretty good imitation of you, Derek. He does the best imitations, I got to be honest. I'll tell Trump to go get a lollipop, maybe feel better about himself. He's wonderful, I got to say. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you to everybody who joined us tonight. Look after each other, folks. Keep your stick on the ice. From Matt and myself, have a good night, everybody. Take care. We'll catch you on the next one.